every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Hi, I'm Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network. This is your Monday mid-morning Alabama forecast. Looking at Florence out there, it's in the Skycam network. It's nice blue skies to begin with, but warm for sure. And across the state, that's the story. We've starting off with plenty of full sunshine in most spots, and that's going to help us warm up pretty quickly. At Alabaster, already at 83 degrees again. Really not a cloud in the sky. Pretty out there for sure, but again, warm and humid with temperatures are again, low 80s, but dew points into the upper 70s. So definitely some humidity in place, which is going to help things to really feel even warmer out there this afternoon. Jefferson, similar story. Really hard to find any clouds out there. Blue skies and sunshine and warmth. And same thing as we move down to the coast at Dauphin Island. This is the camera that's pointed towards the north. And you can see a few scattered little clouds, low clouds there. But again, mostly blue skies and temperatures in Dauphin Island already into the upper 80s. Dew points in the upper 70s as well. So again, it's going to be a combination of that hot air and the high humidity that's going to create some issues with just feeling a lot warmer out there in some parts of the state. Satellite and radar, though, this morning, really quiet out there. Again, mostly just full sunshine across the area, and you really don't see any radar returns across the state. And again, expected to be pretty isolated as far as the coverage of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Definitely we'll still see a few in spots, but I'd say most places are going to stay dry. And that's what we're watching as we move through today and this week. Hot August weather, pretty typical, maybe a little bit warmer than normal, but heat levels will be falling as we head towards the end of the week. So we'll see those heat levels start to fall, and then the shower and thunderstorm chances will be on the increase at the same time. And so again, maybe a little bit of relief, but still going to be August out there for sure. Heat advisory for today is until 8 p.m. All the counties in orange there you see here is underneath that heat advisory. Basically kind of the northwestern sort of quarter of the state under that. And everywhere in the state, it's going to be warm. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be warm everywhere. But in those areas, could see heat index values that get to 105 degrees or more. So it could feel like the triple digits, not just in those counties, but also in other parts of the state as well. So just one of those days you kind of want to take it easy outside. Temperatures already, as we're just now getting past 10 o'clock in the morning, we're at 87 degrees in Birmingham. We're already at 89 in Huntsville. So we're almost reaching 90 degrees in some spots already. In fact, we have hit 90 degrees or 91 degrees in Andalusia, 91 in Monroeville, 90 in Chatham, 90 in Gulf Shores too. So it's a hot day already, and we've just barely gotten started. Forecast highs, we may even have to bump a few of these up, but places like Andalusia may get up to around 97 degrees, approaching 100, 94 in Montgomery. And again, kind of mid 90s in most places, maybe upper 90s in some of those warmer spots as far as forecast highs. And then again, you couple in the humidity that we were talking about, and we've got at least a moderate to even major heat risk. This is an experimental product from the Weather Service. So areas in orange here are under the moderate risk, and then the areas in red, which you see a lot of the area that's in that heat advisory is in the red zone there. And again, this just means that this is one of those days that if you're outside working, you want to just make sure you take frequent breaks, drink plenty of water, take it easy occasionally, and just watch out for other people and pets and everything out there for sure. The hot weather setup has to do with an upper level ridge and a surface high in place, mainly kind of centered off to the west here in parts of eastern Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas. And you can see this large area of orange here. This is all the heat advisories that are in effect for today. So we're kind of on the outside edge of that, but you can see there's heat advisories extending down from northeast Texas through Missouri, up into the Ohio River Valley, and even almost getting to the Chicago area. So a large area that's under the influence of this high and expected to see really hot weather for today. Thankfully, as we get into next week, this is looking at the temperature outlook for basically next week. We look to see a little bit of a back down in the temperatures. And so, the northern half of the state will be at least kind of near normal, maybe in the southern half of the state still around a little bit above normal. But again, we should see heat levels back down a little bit as we get into late this week and into early next week. All right, take a look at your Futurecast for the day. Again, not many clouds around this morning. We'll see some of those form in the afternoon. And again, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, fairly isolated, I would say, even in maybe kind of the southern part of the state. But then just really not a whole lot compared to what we saw some late last week. Same thing for tomorrow. Again, kind of a smattering of isolated showers and storms for tomorrow. Most places, again, staying dry. And so then as we get into Wednesday, things will get a little bit more interesting with an approaching front or boundary from the north. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could produce a few stronger thunderstorms, especially in the northern part of the state. So we'll be watching that for Wednesday and keep an eye on that. But again, next couple of days at least are going to be fairly quiet from that perspective. All right, we still have Hurricane Erin out there, which is now still a Category 4 hurricane and is seeing sustained winds topping out 140 miles per hour with gusts up to 165 miles per hour. And again, it has sort of, it was a Category 5 hurricane, obviously, as we got into the weekend, and then it's sort of weakened a little bit, but starting to re-strengthen again here as it continues to the west. Now, again, thankfully, the good thing about this is that it's expected to turn more towards the north later today and into tomorrow, and that's what the NHC forecast path shows. So still going to be a Category 4 hurricane, but then it will start to weaken as it gains latitude and then continue to curve out, shooting the gap in between the eastern coast and Bermuda as it finds a weakness in the ridge. So again, it's going to make some pretty significant impacts as far as rip currents and some wave action along the east coast, but no direct landfall. So that's the good thing about it as it moves off to the northeast. But again, very strong hurricane out there. Now, what we're watching as we get into the next week, of course, there's Erin here, which will be moving out. But this area of orange right here is a 50% chance over the next day of some additional tropical development from this wave right here. Again, at this point, it's way too early to really know exactly where this may end up going, but there's a pretty decent chance that it will, once it gets in this area, that it will start to develop a little bit further. So we'll be keeping an eye on it, but there's nothing that we can really say as far as specifics at this point. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We're looking at in North Alabama, again, highs in the mid 90s, maybe backing down a little bit as we head towards the later part of the week and seeing those rain chances on the increase. And then for South Alabama, similar thing as well, could get up in the mid to upper 90s in the next couple of days. And again, seeing those rain chances start to increase after being pretty dry over the next couple of days. All right, that is your forecast for this morning. We'll have another one coming up in the early afternoon.